Francis Kimanzi, Mathare United tactician, speaking to us exclusively, of course, at their training base at the Goan Institute, of course, talking to us with regards to a lot of issues, one of them being redeployment of Stanley Okumbi as the tactician of under 20 as we speak right now, of course, having been, I don't know whether it's demotion or relegation from the national team Harambee Stars, and comparing local-based coaches and foreign coaches as we seek even to have a new man in charge of the national team Harambee Stars, with claims indicating that probably he will be a Dutchman. Of course, joining me on set to discuss state of Kenyan football with focus on continental football and Gor Mahia Football Club locking horns against Supersport United tomorrow at Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos County in CAF Confederations fixture, alongside KPL fixtures that will be underway tomorrow afternoon, and Starlets also playing against Christian Cranes of Uganda in an African Cup of Nations qualifier tomorrow. Joining me on set, a robust duo, of course, gentlemen who've been on this platform before. At the fine, Vincent Opio from Daily Nation, great media practitioner, though donning on a Ugandan jersey. I don't know whether it's lack of patriotism or why. Nyambura Muridi is still with us, and Simon Sepe Mulama, a man who also played for Mathare United, the Slum Boys, before. Good to have you, gentlemen. Starting with you, Sepe, what do you think about Kimanzi's claims as far as redeployment of Stanley Okumbi is concerned, and even him being at the helm of under 23 in acting capacity, though?
I think he's given his opinion, and we have to respect that. The federation said that they have redeployed Okumbi, and we just have to follow through. If they say they have placed him, if it's a placement, we follow through. If they say it's a demotion, we still respect that. But I appreciate the fact that Kimanzi appreciates the effort that Okumbi has made, has had with the senior team, the experience that he has had, because he's played at least 19 matches so far. Most of them have been friendlies, but at least playing such kind of matches, such competitions at a big level, and definitely you come out with experience. I really appreciate the fact that he has actually pointed that out.
Vincent Opio, you read from the same script with Sepe, and what do you think overall about the position and take of Stanley Okumbi as far as redeployment, or Francis Kimanzi as far as redeployment of Stanley Okumbi is concerned?
The fact remains that Sepe and Francis Kimanzi are coaches, so they speak the same script. But the fact is, Okumbi has not been demoted, but he has been favored, because FKF did a very good thing of starting up youth leagues,
yes,
under 13, under 14. That is where Okumbi's experience should be, and not under 20. Kimanzi said very well that under 20 players need an expert, a trainer who has gathered enough experience to push them to a better platform. Is Okumbi the man? To me, no. But he's a man who can push the under 13, the under 14 to higher levels, like what he's doing at Akakoro. He's a man best fit for such academies. But for under 20, we need someone like Francis Kimanzi for under 17 to push them to a higher level, which is the senior national team, because the experience he has, spending 3 years training outside the country, cannot be compared to someone who spent 3 months training outside the country.
Nyambura, I'm gonna bring you into this particular conversation. What's the significance of having under 23? Do you think it's a proper feeder system to the national team, the seniors? Because we've seen players overseas like Marcus Rashford. We were playing before we came on air, and Simon Sepe Mlama was quoting Marcus Rashford, who sparkled at a tender age at 18. And we've seen a lot of players, the likes of Anton Martial, Paulo Dybala of Juventus. Do you think it's high time we scrap off the under 23 because it's irrelevant? From where you stand, what do you think?
I don't think we should scrap off, but I'll just deviate a little bit. I think the right age is under 17. This is where you can teach football tactics to these football players. Their minds are tender. You can teach them so very many things, and I believe that we should put more effort in under 17, even not under 23. Or I think this is where we should start. But then I think we should not scrap off under 23. This is just a ladder to the national team or to the senior team. I don't think we should do that.
a stepping stone to the national team, Nyambura Muridhi says. So of course it's a topic that we want to be delving into in our subsequent programs at length and discuss the same, and even bring stakeholders including FKF President Nick Mwendo on the set to take us through the significance of under 23. Francis Kimanzi, Mathare United tactician, is now in charge in acting capacity, and of course he's looking forward to a great experience having spoken to him on this particular show. Of course, this is the touchline on Y254. If you're just tuning in, keep talking to us. 22162 is our SMS line, and interact with us via social media handles as well at Wasike Maxwell at Y254 channel, hashtag touchline Y254. Remember, we're talking about state of Kenyan football with focus on continental football, pitting Gor Mahia Football Club locking horns against Supersport United tomorrow at Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos County. Simon Sepe Mulama, Kenyan teams have been, not putting up some great performance, too elusive for them as far as continental football is concerned. Is it high time Gor Mahia can break that jinx and make it to the next round?
I think yes. I think Gor Mahia has now come of age. They have won the league back to back 3 years, and then skipped 1 year. Then they were back at it again. They have been at that stage three times in a row. They have been doing great recruitments, bringing in great players that have changed the flavor and the flow of Gor Mahian football and Kenyan football at large. I think it's about time now Gor Mahia now get to the next level where they go beyond the knockout stages in the continental matches, because competitions, because I think they have the capacity, they have the players to do it. They have players who have great experience. Like in Nakahata, these guys have been outside the country, they played for the national team, won Sekafa championships. They have like the Mienos who have won the league, who won the Gor TV. They have players that at least we can trust they can go beyond the knockout stage. So it's about time. Now Gor Mahia owes Kenyans, not just Gor Mahia fans, but Gor Mahia now owes Kenyans at least a stage in the group competition.
Nyambura Muridhi, I remember you were at Kenyatta Stadium when Gor Mahia was locking horns against Esperance in a first leg encounter, of course ending in a stalemate and some sort of, silly mistakes. Do you think it's high time now Gor Mahia can polish on the same as even they look forward playing against Supersport United, a team that eliminated their rivals FC Leopards in 2014 in the same competition?
Yes, and just saying that Gor Mahia, the secret for them now is to score and score and score. They should finish it here. They should not take it to South Africa. They should finish it here. So the secret is to score goals and more goals. And what they did with Esperance, yes, it was mistakes. They did not capitalize on the chances they got. But I think right now they have learned. I even overheard their coach saying that right now their only focus is to win here and not take the game in South Africa. So it should end here.
You've covered much of African football, Vincent, and you have full knowledge of this African giant, Supersport United being one of them. Of course, it's been said that South African League is not that competitive, but we've seen players leaving Kenyan Premier League. Masoud Juma, of course, emerging as the top scorer last season, leaving for Cape Town City, and is yet to feature prominently for his new team. Maybe, what do you make of the opponent in Supersport United against Gor tomorrow? What opponent?
I would say it's worth, because their aim, they're not coming targeting the 28 million that is at stake in the group stages, because that one, it's the money they make in 2 months from the monthly grants they receive from Premier Soccer League Board. And looking at their sponsorship, they get 200 million in a year. So coming to this, Gor Mahia targeting the 28 million, they're eyeing that pride, because last year they finished they reached the final and lost to TP Mazembe. Now, listening to the players yesterday upon arrival, their aim is not to reach the group stages, but rather the final, while Gor Mahia is targeting the group stages. And when you look at Gor Mahia, there is this thing that affects them in continentals, stage fright. They'll get a lot of chances and misuse them. But coming to the local league, they hammer 5 or 4 goals that they will have scored against continental opponents. Now, you look at Supersport, they are struggling in the league, yes. They have a crucial match next week against Orlando Pirates. And the reason why they have rested some of their key players heading into this match. But the coach said that he is coming with players who can at least get something away from home and the others are resting for the return leg. That tells you that it's not going to be easy in South Africa, in Pretoria. And Gor Mahia can ask FC Leopards what happened there, because FC Leopards tried in the first 45 minutes, it was a 0-0 draw. But coming in the second half, Supersport proved their worth, and they won the match 2-0.
Of course, 22162 is our SMS line. What are your thoughts as far as continental football is concerned? Of course, pitting in a fixture, pitting Gor Mahia Football Club against Supersport United tomorrow at Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos County. What do you think, and what's your likely prediction as far as that outcome of that tie is concerned? Keep talking to us, 22162, and it only costs 5 shillings, by the way. So keep sending your SMSs and your predictions as well, and you might be lucky to win a jersey of either Gor Mahia or Supersport United, owing to your affiliation, in case you get your predictions right. 22162, our SMS line. And Simon Sepe Mulama Nyambura already mentioned about something regarding Gor Mahia killing the game at home before return leg away, of course, in a week's time. Do you think it's possible?
Yes, it's very possible. You know, we're looking back at history, and when Opio says Gor Mahia can ask Leopards what happened in South Africa, you know, I think we all had an opportunity to watch that match. And Supersport FC were not, Supersport United were not all over AFC Leopards. You know, you look at the scoreline and you might think, you know, AFC Leopards did not have any chances, did not get enough room to play. That match was very open to anyone. You look at Gor Mahia lineup today, it is way better than what AFC Leopards presented to Supersport in South Africa. After Supersport beat FC Leopards in 2-0, so they qualified for the next round. The next match, I think, is on a knockout match against the Tour de Sahel. They lost at home 1-0. Actually, they lost at home 4-1. They lost against the Tour 1-0. So even beating them at their place, it's not impossible. It's happened before, you know. So like she says, Nyambura, I think Gor have a chance. Number one, to kill off the game. They have the players to do it. Medi Kagere has shown in the league he's one of the best, if not the best. He's one of the best strikers we have around. They have the potential to create the chances. I think it's up to Gor Mahia to lose this match or win this match. They have the ability. They have the players. Such competitions, such matches, such high competitions at this level, when you play at home and get a good result, it motivates you even to play away. And we've seen, especially in in recent years, in recent competitions, teams losing at home.
Yes.
Teams losing or dropping points at home. Supersport FC, you might be surprised that all their focus is remaining in the South African League, you know, as opposed to remaining in the CAF competitions. Because what are they gaining if they get to the final of the CAF competitions and then they are relegated in the South African League? So Gor Mahia should use these dynamics as a motivation for them to win this match convincingly at home and go away and still put up a good show, and if possible, come out with 3 points as well.
Nyambura Murithi, of course, I've spoken to various stakeholders of Kenyan football, Ambrose Racher being one of them, chairperson of Gor Mahia Football Club, and all they have said is what Vincent talked to us a few minutes ago, saying that probably these continental championships are not relevant because they're pessimistic about their teams getting further and, making some stages which will earn them financial perks, and for them they prefer local league where they will sparkle and probably win themselves for 4 million Kenyan shillings. Do you think that has also been a factor that might have immensely contributed towards Kenyan teams' performance as far as African football is concerned?
Yes, it's a factor, because sometimes football is not about the money. Yes, I get that nowadays football is a business, but I think we should put the passion first, because even going to these continental games, it's an experience to us, even to eye even World Cup chances. So I think we should not put money first. Though, yeah, but I know football. I know you will differ with me. I know.
You know why Walusimbi, one of the best players Gor Mahia has on the left side, you know why he did not feature in the previous match?
Because he had not been paid.
You know why he's featuring in this match? You know, clubs like Supersport, clubs like Etoile de Sahel, clubs like Zamalek and Ahli, this is what brings the revenue to the table. You know, you look at the gate collections, how many teams can fill the stadiums in Kenya? For instance, Madari United playing against Chemili. You cannot even count 1,000 fans. And you know the gate collection is 100 bob. So if you put a maximum of 1,000 and 100 bob at the gate, this is 100,000 per match. And we have players that get paid 60,000 at the end of the month. So this is nothing. If you are a club that looks at the future, you have visionary leadership, these are competitions that you look at winning and progressing as far as possible in the competitions. So talking about, it's good to have the passion, but you know, like they say back in the hood, you know, passion does not put bread on the table.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, man, get as far as possible in the competition, shine as much as you can, get good contracts, leave the country, get get good result, advance in this competition, get as much as you can in your pocket for the future of your club and for the future of the players. Because when you have good money, you can always go out and buy the best players. Gor Mahia has shown this over and over. They brought in Khalid Aucho, they brought in Serenkuma, they brought in Ziggy Mana, and all these quality players that have really improved the league. So Gor Mahia, if they go ahead and say money should not be motivating them, yet they get 4 million at the end of the season by winning the league, which we are not even sure they'll get this year, then I think they have inverted priorities. Somebody should be packing and going home.
Inverted priorities. Simon Sepe Mulama from Kenya International, of course, speaking to us on the touchline. But Vincent Opio, as we even speak to you, of course, we're speaking to you in different capacities as a fan of Uganda Cranes, of course, donning their jersey, as an agent as well as a sports journalist, and now talking from agent perspective, and maybe from that perspective where continental football will be a forum through which these Kenyan players have to sparkle and showcase their prowess to get noticed by clubs overseas. Do you think it's high time these Gor Mahia football club players do magic in continental football as far as their performance is concerned, put up some glittering show to get noticed overseas by even other African clubs?
Azam and Yanga, as well as Simba, came to learn of Michael Olunga during the Sekafa Kagame Cup.
Yes.
Same happened to Dan Serunkuma during the 2014 Kagame Cup. And Alan Wanga scoring the winner for Al Merrek against KCCA in 2014 in Rwanda. Al Merrek had discovered him when Leopards played the Ethiopian side in the CAF Confederations Cup in 2014, the same year. So these are exposure that comes along for scouts to look out for these players. And you talk of the Premier Soccer League, the kind of defenders they go for are these tall defenders, the height of Haron Shakawa, the height of Joash Onyango. Now look, if Haron Shakawa gives a very good show against Supersport United, that the likes of Evans Rusike, who is the most loved striker at Supersport, can't even get past him, what will happen next? They'll go for Haron Shakawa. And I remember the current Cape Town City, Bloomston, when it was called Malanga Black Aces, looking for Shakawa after watching him during the Kagame Cup in 2015 in Tanzania. So yes, because of the TV, and you talk of Supersport, of course the game will be live. It is not Supersport fans who will be looking at the match. It is all Premier Soccer League clubs that will be looking at how Supersport is playing, because they are meeting in the league in 3 weeks' time with 3 games to go down south. And also, the next opponents of Gor Mahia or Supersport will be looking at the match. In that event, they get loopholes. Maybe they have loopholes in their squad that can be filled by Gor Mahia players or even Supersport. But since they can't manage to buy a player from South Africa, for the Kenyan league, which is a semi-professional league, they can easily get the player.
But even as we seek having our players get noticed by other clubs continentally and even in Europe, maybe there has been this main undoing where these players have gone overseas but failed to sparkle and replicate the glittering show they have put up locally. What has been the main factor? Even as we speak right now, Masoud Juma is yet to, get enough playing time at Cape Town City, despite emerging as the top scorer in KPL last season.
As I said, KPL is a semi-professional league. Those are professional leagues. So it takes time. It doesn't take 2 months to adapt. It might even take a season. Look at Michael Olunga, doing very well in 2015, almost becoming the top scorer. He goes to Sweden, 8 months, without being the key player. Until August, that is when maybe he had adapted and started banging in goals. After that, he moved to China, still struggled a bit, and he's back in La Liga. He's still learning the ropes. So the KPL, you cannot even get closer to ranking it to those leagues. Maybe Zambian Premier League is the one that is closer to KPL. So our players get here, they go to Zambia, they shine immediately. But Sepe will tell you, outside Africa, or rather in Europe or in Asia, the leagues are in a different pace, different facilities, that players are taken through than KPL.
Yes, I think also the exposure, they are bringing the development that a player goes through, coming through the ranks in Kenya. Sometimes it's a big difference with how a player is brought up in Europe. So you look at, like you mentioned, you look at the facilities, the discipline, the individual discipline. Training starts at 10 by 9, you should be at the training field. Such small little bitty things that at home we take them for granted, but out there they make a lot of a big difference. So I think a lot of dynamics play. There's culture, there's diet, and all this stuff comes into play when you talk about adapting and adaptability to the leagues in Europe and competition in Europe before our players can really get the contract and convince that they are the right products for the clubs. So we go back to the structures and football development in the countries, put up nice fields for the players. When you are a young player, you know how to play a one-touch ball, you know what kind of weight to put behind the ball. When you get to Europe, it becomes easy, because I know I've had comments from coaches in Europe saying our players are very slow. They are slow. When they expect your player to react, to make a quick decision, he takes an extra second. And why is this? Because at home, you're used to the balls bouncing, so you have to trap the ball fast and move it before you can play. In Europe, it's a nice flow on the field. They expect you to take one touch, but because this is inside you, where you're expected to play one time, you have to control, because this is second nature to you. Since you're 4 years until 19 years, this is what you've been doing, so you're not changing it overnight. So there's a lot of dynamics come into play when it comes to players moving to Europe or bigger leagues where there are better facilities and better structures. But definitely we have the talent, we have the potential. Given time, any Kenyan player can excel anywhere.
Nyambura, before we talk about KPL and fixtures lined up tomorrow, talk to us about the players, probably, of course, from that angle of you being a diehard supporter of Gor Mahia Football Club. I don't know why, but see, Gor Mahia Football Club of late has been, getting supporters mostly from the other gender. It is good at least our football growing if it gets to support from ladies as well. But maybe players who are likely to sparkle and be a determining factor as far as the outcome of that tie is concerned from Gor Mahia.
Medi Kagere, he's been mentioned as the best striker right now, so I'm looking forward to him. Maybe Kahata. So
are you looking forward to a scenario where Medi Kagere can score a brace tomorrow?
Hat-trick.
Hat-trick?
Definitely.
To be honest, it will be a draw.
What?
Yes, it will be a draw. Look at Supersport. The last time they were here, they played to a 2-all draw against FC Leopards. And it's them who got off the mark against Leopards. Yeah, it's either 1-1 or a 0-0 draw. Get it from me.
Vincent, man.
1-1
No. He came here and tied 1-1 with
Number 216 SMS line starting with the word touch. Remember to start with the word touch, and it only costs 5 bob. What do you think? Your predictions as well, and if you happen to get your predictions right, you're gonna win yourself a jersey of Gor Mahia or either Supersport, owing to your affiliation. So keep sending your SMSs as far as that fixture is concerned. It's continental football, CAF Confederations type beating Gor Mahia Football Club, 16-time KPL champions, of course, having been eliminated by Esperance in CAF Champions League, and now being relegated to CAF Confederations, playing against Supersport United in a game that will be beamed live on TV at Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos County. Away from matters continental football, let's delve a little bit into KPL. Several fixtures lined up tomorrow, but several matches were also played during the midweek. Your team, Mathare United, playing against the cash-strapped Nakmat, beating them 3-2 in a hotly contested battle. You expected that?
Yes, I expected Mathare to win comfortably, but it wasn't to be, because anytime they scored, Nakumat came right back And the best moment in that match was the penalty by Donald Musoti. Where, Nakumatt FC got a penalty. Musoti was the guy to kick it. They agreed he's the guy to take it, and he moves all the way to the halfway line. And starts making all these kinds of moves until he gets to the ball, and finally, man, he scores for But it was a good match. I think it was a good result for Mathare. Mathare United last year, they were fighting relegation, and out of 30 something matches, I think they had only won 7 matches. And today, as we speak, they played 8, I think, maximum 9, and already they've won 6. So I think they're looking at a very, very good season this year, unless something drastic happens, fatigue and injuries and stuff like that. But I think they're on a good roll this time around.
5 KPL midweek clashes happening on Wednesday. Sofapaka being beaten by Nzoia Football Club by 1-0. Nakumatt, the cash-strapped, of course, losing to Slamboys of Mathare United by 3. To Chemelil in a stalemate against Thika United. Ulinzi Stars, the military side, being upset. That was a big surprise, being beaten by the newly promoted side, Viga United, 1-0. Then Posta Rangers beating Kakamega Homeboys 2-0. You watched that fixture at Camp Toyoyo. Do you think it's about, the old guards at Kakamega Homeboys that might have contributed to their being beaten by Posta Rangers? The likes of Alan Wanga, James Situma, Noah Fula, who moved from Tusker.
Honestly speaking, I saw Alan Wanga, Collins Kisuya, I saw James Situma, and no offense, I just have to say that I think it's time. It's time because it's about that time because Posta Rangers looked very dangerous to them. Every time they had the ball, the attack was good, and they lost 2-0. But I think it's about time for no offense, but I think it's about time for Homeboys to acquire new players, a little bit younger, and they can go far.
Vincent Opio, age is just but a number, but Nyambura Muredi thinks that it's just about that time. The likes of Alan Wanga, we've seen those players sparkling for various teams locally. FC Leopards, he played in an Angolan league. You say he scored a good goal during Sekafa Senior Challenge Cup, and you see James Situma, he's been at the helm as well, playing for several clubs, Sofapaka, Tusker FC. Noah Fula, playing for FC Leopards, Sofapaka as well, Tusker. Do you think it's about that time the likes of Kakamega Homeboys can part ways with these experienced kind of players and bring on board fresh blood?
Francis Kimanzi built a team at Tusker in 2015 that won a double in 2016. He has built a very young team in 2016 that is doing wonders in 2017 that is doing wonders in 2018. Kakamega Homeboys have acquired players that were built somewhere else and are struggling to make wonders. Now, Kimanzi said very well that if you are building a team, it's not in a week's time. It takes time. If Kakamega Homeboys want to survive in the league, because last year they finished 5th, now they are aiming to do better than that. Like Nyambura said, it is time to mix the experienced players and the young players. Let's have 6 players, 6 senior players, the likes of Situma, Wanga starting, and let's have 5 players from the school games, or rather from the youth teams from across the country starting in that lineup. Look at Mathare United, from Cliff Nyakea to the goalkeeper Jobo Cheng and even Boban. Most of the players are just from the schools. David Owino winning the Airtel Rising Stars in 2016 with Laser Hill. Now you are looking at him as the future of the national team as a left back. These are players we are talking of. Go to Kakamega Homeboys, you will really struggle to get a youngster there.
These two teams are dealing with 2 different challenges. Because Mathare United, it was not by design, it was by default. They were losing big numbers of players because they could not manage to retain these players. They were struggling with finances, so players were leaving. It's not like Mathare United wanted it by design to get players and say we are now building a team. Maybe Homeboys does not have to build a team. All they have to do maybe is to fill up the gaps and the spaces that they feel there's need for the team to have. But that said, I think I agree with both of them that Homeboys needs to find to strike a balance between the mix of the older players and the younger players. Because you look at Posta in that match, I was at Toyoyo also as well. Osborne Mande was in the midfield. Osborne Mande is not too young. but he's being complemented on the side by Danson Kago.
Yeah.
You know, you have Joseph Mbugi in the midfield playing with us on Monday, but on the other side is Titus Achesa, very young player. So you need to strike a balance and know how you can, you know, integrate these young players into the team and as well as the experienced players and get the result that you want.
22162 being our SMS line. Remember to include your name while SMSing. Of course, 2-0 in favor of Gor Mahia Football Club. Someone tipping 16-time KPL champions to sparkle tomorrow against Supersport United. You didn't include your name though, but of course keep sending your SMSs starting with the word touch. Someone saying I'm talented on handball and volleyball. Of course, you're gonna come on the show and talk about how talented you are. Probably you can catch the eye of handball and volleyball stakeholders outside there. Someone is asking, hi Touchland, which KPL games are you showing this afternoon? Unfortunately, no KPL games this particular afternoon, and all matches are lined up tomorrow, and we're gonna keeping you informed with regards to which game we will be beaming live as far as KPL is concerned. And on that note, KPL, several fixtures tomorrow. Vincent, which match are you focusing on? Besides, of course, Gor Mahia and the Starlets Cranes qualify.
FC Leopards versus Nzoia Sugar, or rather Nzoia Sugar versus FC Leopards at the Mumias Complex.
Hey, that one looks like a derby.
Yes, it's a derby. And Nzoia are on 3 matches without losing. Leopards just lost their first match in 4 games for Dennis Kitambi, and for them, they're looking at coming back to their winning ways, and for Nzoia, stretching their winning streak. So it will be a very entertaining match, and looking at it, that it's a derby in Mumias. I don't know who are the hosts, because Nzoia and Leopards used Mumias as their second or first home ground.
And by the way, they are playing at my own backyard in Mumias. I will be rallying, you know, the villagers to come up in large numbers and support either of their favorite teams. Of course, being impartial and not partisan. Mathare United will play against Tusk FC tomorrow at the Ruaraka Stadium, 3 p.m. Thika United locking horns against Sofapaka at Thika Municipal, and this game will be aired live by our mother channel KBC. Viga United play host to Chemnil at Mumias. Of course, that looks like a double header at 2 p.m. Of course, curtain raising that fixture between FC Leopards against Nzoia. Bandari playing at home against the military side of Lindsay Stars. Kakamega Homeboys, after being beaten 2-0 by Posta Rangers, play host to Nakmat FC at Nabukungu Stadium. Nzoia Football Club against FC Leopards. Sony Sugar against Sharks in Awendo. Then Zoo against Rangers in Kericho. Your match of focus?
Definitely Mathare United Tusk. Big match.
An interesting time.
It's always been interesting since the time that we used to play until now. So really looking forward
Kimanzi playing against his former employers.
Yes. So really looking forward to that. Actually, Mathare United, if they win that match, then they really showing signs of actually fighting for at least a top 3 finish this season.
Mixed results as far as Tusker FC is concerned. Maybe some sort of transition problem.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tusker lost 14 players, and these are key players in the team. The Mienos left, the Wangas left, Wafula Noah, and all these key players that played an integral part in Tusker's success the previous 3-4 years before he got to this season. So definitely bringing in new players that have not gone through the Tusker structure, do not really understand the culture at Tusker, you know, bringing in a different coach from Uganda, being assisted by Francis Baraza, who has not been through the Tusker system. I think it's a transition. They're going through a transitional period, but I think they're handling it well.
Do you think, Nyambura, it is high time this problem has to come to a halt of, you know, when the season is coming to a close, we're having massive transfer of players from one team to another?
The problem is
it's a routine.
It's a routine, because if you're not able to keep your players, they will go. So I think clubs will
what
have.
What should you do to keep your players?
Okay, you have to. No, I did not. Not really. I did not rule out completely. I just said we should not very much put money first. Yeah, but of course, money is a key factor. As he said, passion does not put food on the table. So I think it's time for clubs to find ways to keep their players, and I think Tusker is greatly affected. The players have not gelled yet, and But right now, I'm looking at the way they beat FC Leopards, and I think right now they're building their confidence back. So, but Mathare United are also a very tough team right now. I'm really looking to switch to Mathare. But
You're welcome.
From which team?
You're very welcome.
you said Gor Mahia,
Oh,
but now I'm going.
Now coming to Mathare United, the Slum Boys seems to be recruiting well, and I'm luckily they are fun as well. But Vincent Opio, let's speak as we wrap up. Starlets against Cranes tomorrow. Our ladies having beaten the opponents 1-0 to Kenyatta Stadium in first leg. Do you think they will maintain the same and qualify to the next stage?
Well, on paper, Starlets have an upper hand because looking at Uganda, a young team, most apart from 2 players, the majority are still in school in Kawempe, in Citizen High, and all other schools across Uganda. And 4 of their players weren't called up from their foreign-based countries. They have a player from England, they have a player playing in India, and 2 in US. And this morning, some of the journalists were just complaining that the Ugandan Federation is not serious at all in this AFCON qualifier. They want the team to be eliminated so that they concentrate on other teams because they don't have money to spend in the second round. Now, that is different for Kenya because this is the pride of the Kenyans. And it's only Starlets, they have hopes of reaching the World Cup. So, for them, it's a very do-or-die fixture. And I think they have an upper hand. But if fans happen to turn up at Statham Stadium in Lugogo, it will be very, very tough for David Ouma's side. Looking at the way they played against Uganda here on Wednesday, they were looking unfit and it looked like they have not been in camp for a month. So if it happens that the young team in Uganda can put up a very good performance, it will be very tough for Starlets.
The absence of Akida, a big setback to the team?
Well, and 4 other players. But David Ouma reportedly said that he needs players who helped him qualify for the AFCON in 2016. So that reason why some of the players were left out, like Winket Kaari, a player he covered at Nginda Girls. She's a very good player, and the likes of Vivian and Nasaka, who would have been included in this team, not per se the experienced players, but to learn from these experienced players.
Top-notch discussions you don't want to miss every Saturday. 1 to 3 on the touchline on Y254. Maxwell Wasika is my name. Keep talking to us. 22162 starting with the word touch. Do you think, even as far as international football is concerned, mouth-watering clashes lined up? Manchester Derby, of course, happening this evening, 7:30 p.m. East African time. And remember, Real Madrid locking horns against Atletico Madrid in one of the Spanish, pulsating ties. What are your predictions? 22162, our SMS line. Of course, doing this every Saturday. It's been a pleasure having you on board, Vincent Opio, sports journalist, and Simon Sepe Mulama. But before we wrap, of course, on a light note, Man United, Chelsea, how does it feel not watching your teams in UEFA Champions League? Even on Thursday night football, missing in action. How does it feel, Sepe?
Forget you, man.
Vincent Opio, how does it feel?